Senator McCain talks about victory in Iraq still. I don't hear you using the word victory much. Is victory still possible in Iraq?
Well, I think what is possible is for us to create a best case in Iraq in which the country is stable. We don't have active terrorist cells inside of Iraq, and that we have redeployed our troops in a safe, prudent, and responsible way that allows us to deal with other threats around the globe. That would be a victory for common sense. It would be a victory for a pragmatic foreign policy that will actually make us more safe.
Joining us again is CNN's David Gergen. Also with us tonight from Iraq, CNN's Michael Ware, who is embedded with U.S. troops in Baghdad. Michael, Obama has called for withdrawal over 16 months, 1 to 2 combat brigades each month in consultation with ground commanders. The ground commanders you talk to, what do they say about that? I mean, what did they say would ensue during and after those 16 months?
Well, Anderson, the key phrase in that sentence is in consultation with ground commanders. If indeed a President Obama were to listen to his ground commanders, right now, as the situation stands, without dramatic change, they would not be recommending withdrawal, certainly at a pace like that or within that time frame, or they'd not be looking for withdrawal at all. We hear General David Petraeus right now saying, we need a pause. This is so tenuous. It's wafer thin, the situation right now. And General Petraeus has said that we need to keep these troops here and assess and see how we go forward. If you start pulling troops out, once you drop down to a level where there's only enough American soldiers to defend their rear as they pull out, you will see bloody mayhem strike out in this country. Iran press its advantage and Al-Qaeda will reignite, Anderson.
Obama says, well, look, Senator Clinton and I basically say the same thing. We're going to consult with ground commanders on a withdrawal timetable.
I don't think it has much impact on the nomination fight, Anderson. If anything, there are in some states Barack's continuous opposition to the war has helped him a little bit versus Senator Clinton. But in the general election, this is going to be a hard-fought issue because Senator McCain has staked out a position that, however wrong it may have been to get into Iraq, he's been proven prophetic and right about the need for a surge and what it might do. You know, to have him stand up against either Democrat is going to provide a sharp cleavage. And I must tell you, if the Democrat wins the White House, to go to Michael Ware's point, the Democrat's going to have a real dilemma because he will have promised the country that he's going to get out or she's going to get out rapidly. But yet the reality on the ground is if you start pulling the plug, you could also unleash chaos, and then you would be the president who lost Iraq. And if you lose Iraq, your whole presidency could come unraveled. So it's going to be a dilemma that the Democrats will need to think through carefully and be very careful what they promise in the campaign. Because as Michael says, when they get in there, they may find, if they do, the reality is very, very tough about getting out too quickly.
Well, Michael, let's talk about the reality of political pressure. Senator Obama and also Senator Clinton talk about, the need to put pressure on the Iraqi government in order to try to force reconciliation and try to get them to meet the political benchmarks that President Bush had set. Is that even possible? I mean, does pressure work? And if so, how?
Well, I wish it was that easy, Anderson. No one wants to see the bloodshed here stop any more than I or the Iraqis that I live with. But it just simply isn't that formulaic. You don't think there's pressure on the Iraqis already? The Iraqis, this government is in a position to be able to stonewall or deny America its interests and Washington's own agenda and time frame. Why? Because many of these things are not interests that this government serves, and it has another backer, flush with cash, ready with military support, all set to step in, and that backer is Iran. Worst case scenario, this government does not need America, so America can apply all the pressure it likes. The only pressure that this government or any other would adhere to is military kind of pressure, really pressing an administration here. And so far the most effective tool that the Americans have used is these US-sponsored Sunni militias, putting the insurgents who are killing Americans in government uniforms and using that program as a stick with which to beat this government. Anderson?